Hello everybody, and welcome back to Moonlight Castle. We are hanging out with the Tigor. You know, he's the best of the bunch, guys. He's the best of the bunch. He's obviously the cutest. Oh, here, give me a second. Gotta change my mic real quick. There we go. There we go. Look, stuff happens. Stuff happens. You know, we're with thing. Tiger.
It's an old story from my childhood. Don't worry.
The damage is caused persisted in the present. He shouldn't underestimate it.
It must have been around 8 when it happened. A summer day that I still remember vividly. We were going home from the local pool and my parents were discussing lunch. I wanted to get a burger. A burger. My mind craved fast food all the time.
His voice gradually shifted into a darker tone.
Everything else after that was a blur. I was told a car rimmed us from the side and by the time we collided, I was already unconscious.
He chuckled again after seeing the look on my face, hoping to sweep my worries away.
You should have seen our car after that. We had to get a tow truck.
I'm so sorry. God, I wasn't expecting this.
We actually lucked out, and nobody got hurt.
That's a relief.
Yeah, I should be happy my family survived.
He forced a smile, but his eyes were devoid of light.
Someone else didn't, though.
Patrice was staring into space, while the surface of his eyes began to sparkle.
I woke up somewhere, not too far from the crash site. I don't know how I got there. Maybe someone rescued me and dragged me somewhere safe. Then I saw that corpse and things have never been the same since.
He paused. A tiny sniffle, okay, broke the silence. Patrice wasn't just sharing a memory, he had been dragged back to the past.
It was a gruesome scene that I can't get out of my mind.
I placed my paw on his chest and felt his accelerating heart.
It truly felt as if time had stopped just to torture me, so that I could catch every detail from that scene.
The clouds.
His blood splattered everywhere. Just this giant pool of blood surrounded by fire. But that wasn't the worst part, Joel.
His voice crackled, and I understood what I was meant to do now.
I could tell that he had been watching me. His empty eyes were locked onto me, Joel.
Patrice.
I was completely paralyzed by my own fear as I stood there, for who knows how long, staring back.
Enough, please! You're clearly in pain. His eyes widened as he snapped back at me, like he had been awoken from a nightmare. Then he laughed it all off.
Too much?
That's not the problem.
I'm fine. This was a really old story. I'm over it.
I shouldn't have asked. Sorry.
I wanted you to know. That way people understand why that happens in the first place.
I frowned. He clearly felt obligated to share his story with everyone. Imagine that he had to go through this every single time was painful. This story doesn't seem to have any connection with the castle, though.
I told you before that everything remotely spooky breaks me. I don't know why. I'm guessing it reminds me of that moment.
No matter how much he wanted to know the truth, it felt out of reach, shrouded in darkness. Have you consulted a professional?
I did.
It was dumb of me to ask. Of course he did. He also looked bothered, a suggestion he had heard countless times before. I wanted to help somehow. Be more useful, but I simply lacked the talent to assist in a meaningful way.
Anyway, You can move your hand away now, unless you're trying to get a freebie out of a freebie of my pecs.
Huh? A shameful, Wait, I shamefully took my hand away and buried it in my pockets.
Don't get me wrong, though. I appreciate the intimacy. I just don't like getting called a pervert for enjoying it.
I was just trying to help you feel better. His face immediately told me what a terrible mistake I had made.
Oh, Joel. I know a lot of things you can do to help me feel better.
He winked at me, and I just crawled away.
You can't blame me for that one.
Oh, I absolutely will. I'm so sorry for being concerned about you. Next time, I'll be more mindful of that.
Alright, I get it. You can stop acting petty about it.
I think Ryan should hear about this joke of yours.
No, wait. Let's talk about this.
I figured that Ryan would never forgive the tiger for saying this.
I'm going to get into serious trouble if you do that. I'm not joking. By the way, I promised the group I'd bring some of my spices, but I can do better than that.
Spices?
You didn't read our group chat, did you?
You expect me to read a group chat? Huh. Never ever. Nope.
I like growing my own food, but I don't have time and the space for it, so I settled on small potted plants instead.
That's really cute.
So, what do you say?
I like the idea, but I'm not Ryan. Food isn't enough to change my mind. Maybe I could come over and see it for myself. Then you could offer me a drink. I remember someone still owed me one. I stood up first, patting the dust away from my clothes, and helped him up.
Are you asking me out?
As friends? As friends. Maybe. I haven't decided yet. And I've also got a few exams coming up. I motioned for the door, that it was time for me to go back, before he nods in response.
We should invite everyone and get drunk together.
I giggled. That sounded like something he would propose. I'll think about it. Patrice greatly improved my mood, especially after failing 3 times in a row. Failing? Falling? Failing. Yep. I needed that confidence boost because I was about to do something horrible. This was my biggest obstacle and greatest enemy. I've been delaying it for far too long now, but this was a golden opportunity I knew I couldn't waste. Oh, well, this area. I looked up the number I was about to dial, my fingers refusing to press the green button. I was hoping to get this over with as soon as possible. Thoughts of the unfilled cabinets in my room, the cleaning supplies, and the empty fridge flashed in my mind. It was my friends' fault for sharing their tasty warm meals. Their care was going to be my downfall. Having to rely on them made me feel guilty. He had the only thing standing between us right now. That person scared me. The thought of his voice was enough to kill my appetite. And the possibility that I might hear him again was bringing back painful memories. The trauma I hid threatened to break out of me. I didn't know how long I could hold it in. She didn't deserve to be ignored like this. I took a deep breath, my paw touched the screen and made the call. The ringing slowed down. The longer this dragged on, the worse I felt. My finger was ready, eagerly waiting for me to press the red button. Joel? Relieved to hear her voice, I laid my mind to rest. Is that you? She continued to speak, pleading for an answer. My microphone definitely picked up that long exhale, but that wasn't a real answer. Hello? I sheepishly voiced a greeting, hurried by her demands. Thank goodness you're okay. I was so worried when you stopped answering my calls. Yeah, I know. I had thought about visiting, but he stopped me. He kept saying that you're an adult and if you ever decide to leave, I have to let you go. But you're my son, and I'd never leave you out of my life, even if you cut me out of yours. I'm totally coming over next time we get a day off. The idea of seeing her randomly showing up at my door terrified me. No, that'd make things worse. Why, Joel? What's wrong? You should know that you can talk to me about anything. I'm worried. There's nothing wrong, at least between us. I was afraid of breaking down right then and there. But my words are shaky, and I was on the verge of tears. She sighed. Her tone lost that aggressiveness from before. I know there's something I want to tell you. But what am I supposed to do? I don't want to look away and pretend you're not hurting. Why don't you come visit me instead? I'll make your favorite cake and enjoy some tea together. I would love to do that, but I really can't. Exams? Yeah, and there's an important exam coming up. I needed to get a perfect score to be eligible for a scholarship. So, can I safely assume that the problem isn't school related? No, I'm doing fine. It's just a little stressful. What about your allowance? You stopped calling, and I couldn't send you any money. I could really use some right now. I don't like the sound of that. Have you been eating regularly? Somewhat. I could use some groceries. Could you top up my card? As she made yet another sigh, guilt hit me square in the face. I want to meet up with you. I'm warning you now. I don't care if you have exams, are sick, or you have friends over. I won't accept any excuses. You're not okay. And I'll have to see you through this. See you through this, that's what it says. Understand? Yes, ma'am. I'm going out. I should be done in 10 minutes, but wait an extra 20 just to be sure. 50 is fine? Thanks, Mom. No, don't thank me. If you're really grateful, answer my calls. I'll try. I love you, Joel. Love you too, Mom. I was that close to collapse. I was that close to collapse on the sidewalk. A gigantic weight, gigantic, wow, okay, had been lifted off my chest. I managed to get away with it for a little longer. The money she just gave me should be enough for a couple weeks. The real problem was this meeting she wanted to organize. I shouldn't have ignored her for this long. Now I was guaranteed to encounter with the beast. If only messaging her wasn't an option, then it would have been much easier for me. But that would get her to call back instead. I'll figure it out next week. I refused to think about this, especially today. I wanted to take a break. There was no reason for me to rush this. And so I procrastinated this issue entirely and ditched it onto future Joel. We can ditch everything onto future Joel. I do the same thing to future Josh all the time. I'll come up with something in a few days. There was no need to dwell on this anymore. Oh my god, look at the groceries. Look at that. What do you always get at the groceries, guys? I like to pick up whatever is like discounted on some meats. I always get like a bunch of frozen vegetables. And sometimes if I'm like feeling like I can spend a little extra money, I'll get a small like thing of donuts. I grabbed a cart, walked through the food aisle, and pushed in all of the things I liked. Buying comfort food was the right way to cope with my approaching death. I could hear the people around me enjoying themselves, humming and browsing through items. I envied them. They didn't seem to have any issue in their lives. It made me feel alone. And I brushed it off and focused on something else instead. Discounts! My allowance needed to last as long as possible, so I aimed to get cheap, pre-packaged food. But the options I liked were already gone by the time I arrived. Then I spotted a lone box on top of that shelf, barely visible and completely out of reach. Come on. I stretched as much as I could, standing on my toes, pushing myself to the very limit. My fingers touched the box, but failed to get it closer, and pushed it further in. Fuck! Hi, Blake. What are you doing here? You doing groceries as well? What kind of groceries do you like? You know, this is...
You want one up there, right? Let me get that for you.
He waited for me to move from the shelf. His eyes peeked out for a moment before he went back into hiding. Blake? What a coincidence. Shouldn't you be at the campus? The wolf grabbed the cereal box and dropped it in my cart.
I was. But Clyde requested some last-minute supplies, so here I am.
I'm stocked up for the week after getting some more cash from Mom.
I'm glad to hear that Ryan won't have to worry now.
True. Blake rested his big paw on my shoulder and gently rubbed it. I must have looked sad to him, especially after being reassured. But I had to kindly move aside, and doing that in public was dangerous. I couldn't afford to give anyone the wrong idea.
Is it okay if I stick around? We don't get to spend time alone like this.
God, yes, I hate being at the mercy of my own mind. Blake has to keep me busy. Sure, I don't mind. I followed him to the next aisle and continued filling my cart. How long have you known each other? I tapped his shoulder and asked him to follow me instead. Oh. He's looking off. He's elsewhere. He's...
We met 2 years ago in the bathroom.
Hearing this was say that flooded me with the weirdest memories.
You were the only one who'd take my questions seriously.
Not everyone was interested in having a conversation while peeing, Blake. He grabbed a cupcake and added it to the pile. His cart mostly contained tea bags and several cookie boxes.
I loved how you didn't question it at all and answered them just fine.
I didn't have anything else to do, you know? I can't move while I'm doing it.
And we became friends. I'd say that was the best outcome.
I came into the realization as I grabbed some packages of milk and water. Packages of milk. Is that how you refer to that? I would have said, like, cartons or jugs. Not packages. I'm just thinking of, like, milk in a box. Like, now. We don't do that anymore.
That's because I don't need to catch you at the toilet to chat with you.
I chuckled, and that was indeed an improvement. I miss those short conversations we used to have. They made my days a little better, back when I mainly relied on Ryan.
I have one right now. What do you say? You'll have to do it, though. No restroom for us. Think you can handle it?
Just ask already. I waved him off. He was making me impatient. He quickly checked around us before he leaned in to whisper in my ear.
Are you gay?
Pure abject panic flooded in my veins. I instinctively backed off. Where's this coming from? And of course I'm not. What happened at the saffron stash the day before must have tipped him off.
It doesn't matter what you are. I'm pansexual, if that helps.
When he revealed that to me, the tension in my body melted away. The stress became curiosity? You are? The wolf chuckled as he bumped his fist on my shoulder.
That was careless of you. There's no way a heterosexual would know what that means.
What kind of logic is that? It is true, though. It is very true. Like, yeah, that's very true. I remember one time I was playing at like the card shop, right? And someone was just like, oh, my girlfriend said that she's a pansexual. What does that even mean? And all the straight people at the table were just like, oh no, man, sounds like, And it was like me and the one bi guy at the table just kind of looked at each other and was like, wow, okay. It was a very funny moment. For us, anyway.
I'm not saying that they wouldn't know, but it's more likely for a queer to get it. My pan experience can be shortened to telling people I'm either gay or bisexual. It's just not worth the effort. Heterosexuals don't have to deal with any of this. Liking the opposite gender is the norm. And that means there's no reason to learn about us. Pansexual might be a scary word to them.
It might not be the only word either.
I'd be happy to live in a world where nobody cares and accepts you for who you are. But that's not realistic. I live the way I want, but I also keep what I do to myself. Nothing personal. So, are you gay?
He leaned forward, his upper body looming over me. The only thing he cares about was learning what kind of color my closet displayed. And you won't be upset?
Of course not.
Oh, say you're heterosexual. It would just be funnier to double down at this point. It was obvious at this point, but I couldn't get over his irrational fear of mine. This irrational fear of mine, not his. This. And you won't think that I'm weird?
By following your logic, I'm already much weirder than you.
I nervously ran my hand through, on the fur on my neck and offer a slight nod in response.
I see.
I leaned towards him to see what expression he'd have, but nothing changed. With his eyes closed, I was unsure if he knew I'd been staring at him. Can I ask you something too?
You always answered my questions. I'd say you deserve to return the favor.
There was one thing that I'd always wanted to ask him, but I was too afraid of upsetting him. Alright, here it comes. You tend to keep your eyes closed a lot, and I wonder why. Do you have eyesight bad? Oh, do you have... Wow, is your eyesight bad? It's okay, don't worry about that statement, guys. My head is in the clouds right now. It's fine. I'm sitting here going like, I have food cooking on my stove, and staring at this timestamp like, it's not burning, is it? It's probably not burning. Probably. That was the look he gave to everyone when he had to keep his eyes open. But I was aware of a different side, a much happier one. It was the look he reserved for the sky. His eyes would shine just as bright as the stars he loved.
I thought you'd never ask.
A hint of regret settled in. Should I not have asked?
The opposite, actually. That's a question people ask at the beginning, but you never did.
Aw, shit. I hope I didn't come across as, me not caring about you.
Not at all. I know what kind of person you are.
True. I wasn't sure if bringing it up would hurt you. And I didn't know, I didn't need to know to consider you my friend. Oh, look at that expression. Oh, this expression, guys. A few moments later, I found myself pushed against his chest. There was a faint scent of vanilla coming off his poncho.
Thank you. It makes me happy to hear you say that.
My body wanted to reciprocate and hug Blake back, but I couldn't let myself do that, no matter how starved for physical contact I was. Meanwhile, my head demanded us to stop at once. But he pulled back before I could say anything.
Fuck. I didn't mean to do that. What you just said really touched me. I hope I didn't cross a line.
It's fine. But next time you should warn me.
I'll keep that in mind.
It was nice. It was needed, but I hated myself for wanting more.
Got everything you needed. I'll answer your question on the way back.
Are you running late? He didn't say, but I was confident enough to believe I was right. Oh, okay, everyone. I'm gonna end the part here. So I do hope you all have enjoyed, and I'll see you guys around.